Alfas നമ്മളുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ബാച്ചുകളിൽപ്പെട്ട ഒരാളാണ്. 2020 അല്ലേ? 2020 Devaki Ammal അദ്ദേഹം ഫാം ഡി കഴിഞ്ഞിറങ്ങി. എന്നിട്ട് യു ഡിഡ് എ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇൻ
pharmaceutical business and technology.
Pharmaceutical business. Everyone say Ireland is about industry and industry.
Yeah.
And you also, while coming pharmaceutical technology program, will have more of industrial modules like drug discovery, quality, regulatory.
When I came to know about registering in Ireland, like as a registered pharmacist, that's where my interest struck more. So my interest was in clinical pharmacy rather than industrial pharmacy.
Industry versus clinical pharmacy. What's your comment?
It is purely based on your interest. If you are interested in clinical pharmacy, the best thing to do is to go work in a pharmacy. I know when people think of working in a pharmacy, they always compare it to the condition back in India. So it's very different here.
Our student from Calicut, Devaki, 3 years, 4th year now.
Yeah.
And giving a such story of how a pharmacy student came and did a program in technology, pharmaceutical technology and business.
Yeah.
And worked 2 years, moved into clinical side, got a license. Today working as a licensed practitioner. Hello Alfas, good evening.
Hi sir.
Nice to meet you in Ireland again.
Nice to meet you as well.
Okay, right. So Alfas നമ്മളുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ബാച്ചുകളിൽപ്പെട്ട ഒരാളാണ്. 2020 അല്ലേ? 2020 Devaki Ammal അദ്ദേഹം ഫാം ഡി കഴിഞ്ഞിറങ്ങി. ഒരു പക്ഷേ മുൻകൂട്ടി പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്തതുകൊണ്ട് കോഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഉടനെ തന്നെ
വളരെ മുന്നേ എന്ന് പറയില്ല, ഒരു 5-6 മാസം മുന്നേ പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്തത് കൊണ്ട് കോഴ്സ് കഴിഞ്ഞ ഉടനെ തന്നെ
വരാനായിട്ട് പറ്റി. എന്നിട്ട് യു ഡിഡ് എ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇൻ
pharmaceutical business and technology.
Pharmaceutical business and technology.
1 year masters ആയിരുന്നു. 21 പാസ് ഔട്ട് ആയി. അപ്പോൾ ആ സമയത്ത് അങ്ങനെ പാർട്ട് ടൈം ഒക്കെ നോക്കി. പിന്നെ ഇറങ്ങാനുള്ള ഒരു ടൈം ആയപ്പോഴേക്കുമാണ് ഈ ഒരു ഫാർമസി ഫീൽഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു ഇതിലേക്ക് നോക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ആയിരുന്നു മെയിൻ. ആദ്യം എല്ലാവരും ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ഒക്കെ നോക്കുന്ന പോലെ അതായിരുന്നു മെയിൻ ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു കാര്യം. പിന്നെ നഴ്സിംഗ് ഹോമിലായിരുന്നു ആദ്യം വർക്ക് ചെയ്തത്. അവിടെ ഒരു ഹെൽത്ത് കെയർ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്തു. പിന്നെ ആ സമയത്താണ് ഈ ഫാർമസി ഫീൽഡിലേക്കുള്ള സ്റ്റെപ്സ് ഒക്കെ വെക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയത്. കുറെ ഫ്രണ്ട്സിന്റെ എഫേർട്സും അവരുടെ കൂടെ കുറെ ജോലിയൊക്കെ നോക്കി, കുറെ റെക്കമെൻഡേഷൻസും റെഫറൻസും ഒക്കെ അത് വേണം, അത് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. പിന്നെ ഏതൊരു സ്റ്റേജിൽ ക്ലിനിക്കൽ ഫാർമസിയിലേക്ക് പോവാം, ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി വിടാം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു തീരുമാനത്തിലെത്തുന്നു. അവിടെ നിന്നാണ് പിന്നെ അങ്ങനെ തുടങ്ങിയത്.
Okay, very good. So now everyone say Ireland is about industry and industry.
Yeah.
And you also, while coming pharmaceutical technology program, will have more of industrial modules like drug discovery, quality, regulatory, etc.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 modules is purely based on pharmacy industry.
But I remember one day when we were discussing our phone, you were saying my interest is in the clinical side. I want to move on. Can you explain that?
Majority of my friends, like I would say 80% of my friends, they were all going into the industrial side. So as well, like same as them, like I was too interested in industry as well in the first period. And then when I came to know about registering in Ireland, like as a registered pharmacist, that's where my interest struck more. So my interest was in clinical pharmacy rather than industrial pharmacy.
One thing I always notice is people interest matters. Yeah. This is all about industry, but then you wanted to be in clinical pharmacy because you did your PharmD.
Yeah.
Right? And you want to be sitting in the hospital dispensing.
Yeah.
So my understanding, there are 2 options. One, you can work as an assistant.
Yeah.
Where licensing is not a must.
No.
As a technician, clerical, etc.
Yeah.
But if you do licensing, you will be the licensed practitioner. You can actually dispense.
Yeah.
Can you explain that technical side of?
Pharmacist in Ireland, generally, like pharmacists in Ireland, it's very different from what we have in India. So the pharmacists here, they are very keen or very strict about sticking to the guidelines, rather than the pharmacists like in India, we just dispense whatever prescriptions we get. Like even if it's an antibiotic, we won't check the credibility of the prescription. So just whatever you come and if you go into a pharmacy and ask for amoxicillin, they'll always give it to you. If a pharmacy is not giving to you, the next pharmacy will. So there is no place for a guideline. So it's very different here. Pharmacists are very strict on the guidelines. There are strict rules and regulations for every class of drugs and everything. So the assistant is kind of a different role where you are just making the sale. Even though it's supervised by a pharmacist, you are just making the sale. Like there are limitations on OTC products or whatever you can sell over the counter. So there is always guidelines in place. And once when the guidelines require the pharmacist to do a supervision, it has to be done.
Let me break that. See, you're saying there's a prescription from the doctor.
Yeah.
And you have a comment on and above.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Always.
So example,
let's say like if there's a prescription coming to you and you find something missing in the dose or instructions or anything, or
some supporting medicines.
Yeah, you always have the patient's records on your file, on your system. So sometimes when you're cross-checking with the records, you can find any contraindications or something like that. But like when we are working in India, like it's a really laid down procedure to go through it. You have to report whatever incident you are facing. You have to go through your senior and then get to the doctor and get him to you have to wait for him to come back to you, and then only you can make a decision. But here you can just directly call the prescriber, or you can just mail it, because majority of the prescriptions are coming to you.
Which means you can call the doctor.
Yeah, you can always directly call the doctor or the surgery or the clinic, or else you can just email back to him saying, I have this problem with the prescription. So he'll be always happy to help you. And if it's not, like, you can say to him like, this is this is what the guidelines say, you have to stick it to it. You have that credibility, you have that right here.
So that's the power of licensing you have. And doctors respect you for your comments.
Yeah, they do.
Very good, very good. Now from the student's point of view, they always look at the job role, perks, their monetaries and their exposure, career growth, etc. Industry versus clinical pharmacy. What's your comment?
It is purely based on your interest. If you're interested in clinical pharmacy, the best thing to do is to go work in a pharmacy. I know when people think of working in a pharmacy, they always compare it to the condition back in India. So it's very different here.
Okay.
So I would say, based on your interest, if you're interested in really serving people, serving patients, or clinically working, this is your best opportunity here.
Okay.
It's not a small thing. You get that credibility and you get that recognition from everybody.
Okay. So after the studies, you did your post-study work visa.
Yeah.
And you got into the work permit now.
Yeah.
Okay. And the work permit is in progress.
Actually, my stay back period was about 2 years. So I have to pass all this documentation and the exam, everything within these 2 years. But I was not able to do so. So I was running out of my visa, and I think maybe about 1 month before my exams. So I got my employer. I was discussing with him, and he agreed to provide me with the general work visa. So he gave me my work visa, which I'm currently on. So I can move it to critical skills because I'm a registered pharmacist now, but I have to wait for 1 year because this is my first job.
Yeah.
So if you are getting your first work permit in Ireland, you have to wait for a year with the same employee in the same job if you need to renew it or upgrade it to something else.
Okay.
So that's what.
So our student from Calicut, Devaki, 3 years, 4th year now.
Yeah.
And giving a such story of how a pharmacy student came and did a program in technology, pharmaceutical technology and business.
Yeah.
And worked 2 years, moved into clinical side, got a license, today working as a licensed practitioner.
I am.
And what's your future plan?
Future plan, stick to your interest, work hard on it. You have a lot to learn. Even though I did a 6-year course back in India, it's very different when it comes to practical stages. So I know I'm registered here, but I have still lot to learn from my employer, like my senior pharmacist and all. So experience gives you the better knowledge. So that's where I am.
Okay, and your final message to the students who are going to come in September. We have close to 200 plus students coming for different programs of technology, digital transformation, medical devices and pharmaceutical business management.
I would say if somebody is making the decision, please make it fast. Don't make any delay on it, because every country is changing their rules and regulations now and then. So better make decisions faster and be quick.
Okay. And what's your comment on Ireland as a country, their culture, hospitality and your living here?
They are very hospitable. It's a very good country. I know the climate will be much different than in India, but once you are here, you'll be getting used to it. So it's very good. Nothing bad to tell you.
Thank you so much, Alfas,
No problem
and keep in touch.
No problem.